U.S. President Barack Obama laid out his vision for foreign policy in a major speech Wednesday. Speaking to the graduating class at the West Point Military Academy, he made it clear the United States still wants to be the leader in the world. Obama told the crowd good leadership requires military might along with strong alliances and, yes, diplomacy. The remarks come at a time when Obama has come under criticism for being passive and weak. CCTV's Jessica Stone covers the White House for us. Jessica, the president has laid out a mission statement of sorts, but what about laying out action?
Well, we did hear the U.S. president call for a $5 billion counterterrorism fund aimed primarily at combating extremism in the Middle East. But other than that, not a lot of concrete details in this speech. We were expecting to hear more about the next steps in Syria, even a proposal to arm or at least train the moderate rebel forces there. We didn't hear that either.
The seeds of Wednesday's speech were sown in Syria. 5 months after Syrians started protesting their government in March of 2011, U.S. President Barack Obama called for President Bashar al-Assad to step down. A year later, he uttered these words.
A red line for us is we start seeing a whole bunch of chemical weapons moving around or being utilized. That would change my calculus.
When it became apparent that chemical weapons were in fact being used in Syria, Obama did not order military action. That pullback on his threat became a weapon for critics and a concern for American allies. Wednesday, Obama defended his decision.
As frustrating as it is, there are no easy answers there. No military solution that can eliminate the terrible suffering anytime soon.
Against expectations, Obama also did not announce an effort to arm the moderate Syrian opposition. At the same time, a senior administration official confirmed the White House does support legislation allowing the Pentagon to equip and train vetted members of that opposition. It is a more calibrated and multilateral approach to foreign policy. But the American president was clear the U.S. will use military force when its core interests are threatened or to defend the security of its allies. And more than once, Obama referred to the ongoing maritime disputes in the South China Sea between China and its neighbors.
Regional aggression that goes unchecked, whether in southern Ukraine or the South China Sea or anywhere else in the world, will ultimately impact our allies and could draw in our military.
It is a military drawing closer to Japan's self-defense forces. Just this week, the chief of U.S. naval operations, Admiral Jonathan Greenert, met with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe to discuss more military cooperation.
And Obama again noted that the United States does support the resolution of maritime disputes through international law, but pointed out that the United States is not privy or party to the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea and called on the U.S. Senate to ratify it. Asier?
Jessica, as you mentioned in your piece, the president made it very clear that military force is not the solution to every crisis. So how does the president propose exerting American influence?
He laid out a vision that primarily depends on dialogue, on conflict resolution and coalition building, but also on foreign assistance, on disaster relief, and other types of peacetime efforts that can also build up relationships and take away the space, as he calls it, for terrorists to act.
Thank you so much, Jessica Stone, live at the White House.